Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the Sikh Channel Business Show. I'm very pleased today to welcome Davinder Singh from Digital Security. Vic, welcome to the Sikh Channel Business Show.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Fateh Ji.
Many thanks for inviting me along.
It's great to have you here today. Vic, you started out many years ago in the legal profession. You studied law, and did you want to become a lawyer?
That was my initial goal, yes. Having studied for a good number of years and passed and worked in the field, that was my goal. But I met someone whilst at an event who worked in cybersecurity, and then I took the leap of faith to change careers.
So you changed career. That's a very big step to take, because you spent a lot of time, money and energy studying law, and you switched away from the legal profession and became a digital security expert. It's quite a different field.
It is a very different field. It's far more dynamic and versatile than I initially expected it to be. But I've not looked back. You know, in 2012, when I made that leap of faith, I knew back then cyber, digital is the future, and we see it now with augmented reality and virtual reality in the headlines. So it's a fantastic field to work in.
And you're self-employed. You work as a consultant, helping small businesses with digital. Is that right?
That's right. So I work with not only small organisations, but also large organisations, going in, making sure they have the correct security awareness procedures in place so their staff know what to do with personally identifiable information, which is vital, especially in this year with the new data protection legislation coming out. GDPR indeed. And now I also work with individuals, high net wealth individuals, because when they're in the public eye, they're susceptible to blackmail. And so it's important that individuals, whether they're high net wealth or just at university or business people, like a lot of people here today, it's important they know what threats there are out there so they can take the right controls to protect their assets.
And there's a lot of hype around cybersecurity. We hear it in the news all the time, North Korea and data breaches by big companies. Does it really affect small companies? Do they need to be concerned?
Definitely. It's and it's not just like North Korea or Russia or China we should be wary of. Small businesses are more likely to be attacked by small criminals because your firewalls, your technical controls are likely to be weak, especially passwords. Many small business owners often use the same password for their professional accounts that they use for their personal accounts.
So that's a very simple thing in terms of protection and cyber, because when people think of cybersecurity, it sounds very complicated, and they think it involves software and hardware, and it's awfully complex. But passwords are such a simple thing.
Passwords are very simple, and that's just what's so beautiful about this industry. It's not technical at all. It's like at the crux of it, it's just basic security awareness.
It's human behaviour.
Human behaviour, and we are the first line of defence, and we are the strongest link between an adversary who wants to get into our data and stopping it from happening. So that's why it's vital for everyone not to use the same password for more than one account, or even share your password with anyone. Because if you shared your password with someone and something happens to your account, it's difficult for you to blame it on an individual, because your password verifies you for you.
So never share your password.
Never.
That's the first piece of advice.
It is, definitely. Never ever share your password. Because a lot of the cases I've worked on where someone has had their social media account hacked or their emails compromised, it's because their partner, former partner, acquaintance, colleague who had their password was the one who misused their trust.
When you first started out as a consultant in your own business, what were the early hardships you faced? What were the early struggles?
It was just around going out there and just getting business, but it wasn't hard at all. If you're proactive, and for me, I have a 5-year plan. For me, I want to be a success. So just going out to events, going to bars, and just talking to people. If you have a negative mindset, you're never going to succeed. So it's important just to go out there, have online profiles, engage with people on Twitter, Facebook, and when you're at events, just talk about your business in a way that the person that you're talking to can relate with.
So it's not a hard sell. You don't go to networking events and sell. It's more about being useful to people. Is that right?
Exactly. So first thing I do when I go out, I find out what their name is, what they do. And when they ask me what I do, if they've told me they're a doctor, I will say, oh, I work in cybersecurity and I help the medical profession protect their patient
records and so on.
So it's about making myself relatable to them, and it makes it far easier to get clients.
And in terms of success, do you have any large running costs? Do you carry a big overhead?
No, it's for me, the business is hugely profitable, and when it comes to digital security nowadays, there's such an array of roles. It's not just about going out to companies and giving talks. You can do marketing, recruitment. There's so many different fields out there that many people should seriously consider.
When you first started at Vic, you mentioned it's initially difficult getting new clients, but you got across that hurdle. How do you now generate your new clients? Do they come via word of mouth? Or
it's a lot of it's word of mouth. It's people tend to come to me nowadays via direct messages via Instagram or Facebook because they've been told about what I do from other people. So it's, definitely word of mouth.
And how important is your service in that, the service that you provide in having satisfied clients?
It's one thing about the service, but it's also about being an individual and having a personality. When you go out and you talk to a company, for example, they're often put off listening to someone who's going to charge a lot of money. So for them, they want to know, okay, are you a person that my staff are going to relate to and actually going to listen to? And that's what happens whenever I go out and give a talk. I make it a one-to-one situation, and everything. There's no PowerPoint presentations. There's no jargon involved. It's just talking in a layman's language that my client can understand.
So if there's anybody out there who's watching this program now and they want to get into cybersecurity, they like the idea of this field, what advice would you give them about starting a cyber-related business?
Do it. There's no point in this hesitating, thinking, which area should I go into? Once you've done your research, book yourself onto a course if you need to do some studying to get yourself at a level with your other digital security colleagues. Otherwise, just go out there. Just learn the basics, go out, find clients. When you're in a bar at the Gurdwara, just tell people, this is what I do. Would you like any assistance with finding out who is trolling you online or how to protect your client information in your new bakery business?
So have you acquired your expertise over time rather than studying or working for a large IT company? Have you acquired your expertise over time?
It's been both. Right? So when I made the change in careers, I went back to university and studied an information security MSc at Royal Holloway. And as well as that, from going into companies, you learn that often the theory doesn't go quite well into practice. So it's about learning, actually, this is what works in this large utility organization, and then taking that information away with me.
And what are the challenges facing your business now? The initial hurdle was to acquire clients, and you seem to be doing well. You've got word of mouth working for you, and you're an avid networker. What are your future challenges?
I guess the future challenges is just getting people to take the basics seriously. That's been the challenge before. It's going to be the challenge going forward. It's just reminding people you wouldn't share your front door key with others, so don't always share personal information about yourself online. So that's been my challenge for the last few years, and it always seems to be the recurring issues.
And how do you deliver that message? Is that via personal meetings, or do you do any web-based seminars?
It's all personal. So when I meet someone, I will have my laptop out and I will tell them, okay, give me your name and your phone number, common information that you often share with anyone that you meet. And through open source sites, I will just show them, this is all the personal information I found out about you. I found out the school your kids go to, which could be of use to people with adverse intent. I found out a certain bankruptcy you was involved in, which could be used to blackmail you because you're applying for a certain role. And I've also got this wonderful device called a Wi-Fi Pineapple. And what it is, it's a fake Wi-Fi hotspot. So when I'm in a coffee shop, I can plant it and I can mimic Starbucks Wi-Fi hotspot. So with my clients, I can show them with this hotspot, I can see all the websites that you're visiting, your usernames, your passwords, and all the personal information that you're sharing.
That's amazing. So that's a real risk of fraud. If somebody's going online onto their online banking, somebody can see their bank account and so on.
Of course, and that's the real threat. And those are the real examples I show them in real time. And then from there, they realise, oh, actually, before I connect to any public hotspot, let me just check with a member of staff, actually, is this the right Starbucks hotspot, or should I have used another one? Because with the criminal, I could set up one called Sikh Channel 1, when actually the official Wi-Fi hotspot is Sikh Channel.
And what advice would you give to Sikh Channel for our cybersecurity? Sikh Channel is now a very large international TV broadcast, and we have teams across the world sending us content, and security is very important for us, and we do have some copycat channels and competitors, some of whom can be a little bit underhand, so we have to be careful. What advice would you give to us?
Wow, well, having been here today, I've picked up a few issues that would certainly help put you in good stead going forward. On an information perspective, I would say if you are receiving a lot of messages via email or text with attachments, just be wary that some of these may be malicious. So just always verify. Just look at the email address. Does it look safe? If it looks like if the email address says it's from an official company, the domain, so the @domainname.com, should also match the official company.
That's a lot of checking, Vic, as you know.
Is it a lot of checking?
People under pressure. We've got lots to do here at Sikh Channel. We work with a very small team. Gurpreet Sandhu now is recording our programme. He's also going to go out filming this evening. He's done the breakfast show this morning. Our team's under a lot of pressure, and the men have time all the time to check everything carefully.
It doesn't take too much time at all. A quick hover over the website domain address. If it shows that it's like sikhchannel.com, hover your mouse over it, or if you're on your phone, just long hold it, copy and paste, see where it will really take you to. Because if it comes up with a random 1234.org address, then you know it's fake. And that will take less than 1 minute. And that less than 1 minute check on a website could potentially save you hours, weeks, and months of trying to remove a malware from your system. And that would really affect your business, right?
Yes.
How many viewers would you lose in that time? How much business would you lose? And that's what you have to think about at the end of the day.
We may need you to do a check on the Sikh Channel systems because we do find some of our confidential information sometimes in terms of programming does not always stay within the building, so we'd like to have your services. Great.
Well, you have to also think about it's just user awareness. When you as a company like this, you bring in staff, do they have an induction? Are they told what they should and shouldn't be doing on your systems?
That's tremendous. And in terms of the digital age and information, do you think there's too much information now, information overload? People have far too much bombarded with lots of different messages and sites, Instagram, Facebook and so on. And is there a reaction against that? Are people now starting to come away a little bit from social media? I know that I really am fed up with WhatsApp because there's so much junk on WhatsApp, and I almost want to turn it off and get rid of it on my telephone.
Well, you might have to just remove yourself from certain groups if you're getting a lot of unwanted messages on WhatsApp. My answer is going to be slightly biased because I work in this field, and I don't think it is information overload. The information out there on the web makes it easier for us to learn and engage with people, makes us find new connections that we wouldn't normally get. Imagine like living in a small town, a small village, trying to network with other bakers, for example. It's going to be quite difficult, but with the online community, you can find other bakers and share recipes, share marketing ideas. If anything, people should just remember, be careful what you share online. On my way here, I'm not going to tell the cab driver every single personal information about me. When I'm in the shop, I'm not telling them what I had for breakfast. I'm not telling them I'm going on holiday, because I know if I tell that random person I'm going on holiday, they might tell someone else and my house might get robbed whilst I'm away. For some reason, we seem to be a lot more complacent and trustworthy online. So it's just...
Why is that? Is that because it's a bit distant, removed?
It's partly to do with that. There's a rather blasé attitude towards trust, because we think, oh, I can't see the people, I don't really know who's reading my messages, I will just post this online. But you don't know, you might just see, oh, 6 likes to a post that told people that, oh, I'm going on holiday next week. But how do you know that the other 10 people who didn't like your post took a note of it and then told their mates, this house is vacant, let's go rob it? So there's a certain lack of awareness.
That's tremendous. And is it a developing area, cybersecurity? Are those new threats and new attacks being made online?
So yeah, we have this debate in the industry. Is there new vulnerabilities or are there new threats? The threats just come about from the new threats come about because people are just using technology in the wrong way. You know, we don't use two-factor authentication. We're not careful about when we're downloading stuff online. It's just about being careful online.
And you're a young man who's been married recently. How does working for yourself, running your own business, impact upon your personal life?
It doesn't really, to be frank. It's
Do you have children?
No children. So it's, you know, when you're married, you're a team, you support each other. I'm fortunate enough to be able to enjoy a social life as well as a professional life, as well as married life. It's and that's why I work. You know, I work hard just so I can have great personal life as well.
That's great. Do you have a good work-life balance? You don't work 12 hours a day and so on?
No, what there are times when I work long, but for me, this isn't a job. This is a hobby for me, and that's what makes it so great. Is when I get a call at 8 p.m. when I'm just about to watch some TV and someone said, "Oh, I'm being trolled. Can you help me?" No problem at all. I'm more than happy to help you.
It's your passion. You enjoy it. Is that the key to business success? To do something which you enjoy?
You have to enjoy it. There's nothing worse than hearing people complain about, I hate my job, I'm going to work, I hate my manager, I hate the processes. If you hate it so much, no one's stopping you from leaving. No one's keeping you there. Go and find yourself another role somewhere else.
Looking back with hindsight, Vic, your business is quite new, it's just 4 years old. But looking back to when you started out 4 years ago, what would you change? What would you have liked in terms of support or different circumstances to help your business? Looking back, what would have helped you grow faster and go further?
For me, it's not about growing fast. It's about, I wouldn't change anything then. It's my business has grown organically in a fantastic way. All the decisions I made was right at that moment in time. And for me, I've got to remember, I don't want to be 60 years old and look back at my life with regrets. If I want to do something, I will do it, because I know that that decision I made at that moment in time is best for me in the long term.
But is there anything that would have helped you in your business journey?
No, because for me, my business has developed in a fantastic way. I don't need to have adverts out on multiple channels. I'm happy with the way it's come about. And I'm pleased with the business I'm getting both domestically in the UK, in Europe, North America and Asia. So had it grown too fast, I probably would have burnt out. Health is vital. Mental health especially is important. People do want success too soon, but I always say your mental well-being will be crippled early on. So
slow and steady wins the race.
Slow, steady, but it's really important to be consistent. Have a plan, for example, myself, I have a 5-year plan, and whenever I feel I'm losing track, I go back to it and say, oh, actually, I should be at that stage right now. So it's important, jot down where you want to be and also how you're going to do it, because that keeps you motivated.
That's tremendous. And who inspires you in terms of business? Who do you look up to in the business world?
In the business world, I guess like if we look at the Sikh community in Reading, there are some fantastic small, medium-sized business people in Reading itself who, for me, it's great to see how much work they've done. I've met various business people when I've been out and about in London who have given me little nuggets of information. I can't say there's one individual themselves who has had a significant impact in my life, but there's multiple people. And what's great is having a family, especially my parents, who have supported me. When I made that change in career, they were 100% behind me. If I wanted to do something, there was no restrictions at all. I think we lived in a household where if we wanted to do something, we could do it. We learned from our mistakes. It was really fantastic household to be in growing up.
How important was that in your business, support from your parents?
Pivotal. It's if I was like, it wasn't just like doing a new career, but having to go back to uni, thinking to myself, actually, there's going to be a big financial burden on me now.
The cost of it.
But I was just like, you know what, that's not going to be a headache going forward because my salary were to clear that debt within less than 6 months. So for me, it was like, their support was vital. And also the Sangat, doing Simran regularly, going to the Gurdwara, it's like having faith there to really keep you grounded is vital. You need something that when you're going through a bad patch, you can just sit down somewhere, do some Simran,
yes,
and then something just happens to you. You get a message and you realize, actually, that's what I'm going to do now.
That's tremendous. So your faith, your community, your family has been part of your business journey, and that's very important to have that holistic approach.
Definitely, like those people who have probably been like too narrow-minded, focus on themselves, or they just focus on the money. They're the ones who I've seen them fail.
That's right.
I've never chased money. I've just chased the good life, good health, good food, and good things just happen there. It's because when you're just looking at one particular thing, you're narrow-minded, you're tunnel-visioned, and then you miss out all the fantastic opportunities that are beaming at you because you're just too focused on the paper.
That's tremendous, Vic. Thank you very much for joining us today. And you're a very young man, a young entrepreneur, starting out just 4 years ago, but progressing well. We'd like to follow your journey and keep track and see how you get on, and invite you back to the business show to share your experiences with the Sikh channel viewers. So please do keep in touch, and we will also ask you to help Sikh channel with this cyber security and look at our growing international presence.
Yes, certainly. It'd be a pleasure to assist you and the Sangat as well as your company, because the digital world is here right now. So it's vital that we keep abreast of the threats to keep our information secure to ultimately bring success. So if any of your viewers do have any questions or comments, they're more than welcome to get in touch with me directly via social media, yes. And I'm more than happy to assist you and your colleagues going forward.
That's tremendous. Vic Singh, thank you very much for coming to the Sikh channel, and we'll be in touch with you again in the near future. Thank you. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.